Hi, my name is Michelle Lee. Welcome to the Three Churches Chinese Classroom. Learning Chinese has become a very hot topic all over the world. I've been helping a lot of people learn Chinese during the last decade. A lot of students keep asking me why learning Chinese is so much more difficult than most other languages in the world. How can I overcome those challenges like catching the different tones, writing the characters properly, and string the words into sentences and using them in a conversation? All such kind of questions keep coming up during my teaching journey. I believe all these issues are very common frustrations for Western Chinese learners. Actually, I did an online research recently. I was asking people on Facebook, what is your single biggest challenge when it comes to learn Chinese? I received 489 responses. All these feedbacks simply verified the challenges we just discussed. So, how should we overcome these problems to make learning Chinese a really enjoyable journey? Is there any way more effective and easier so we don't have to be stuck and even giving up? Let's try to dig a little bit into the learning Chinese history. Did you know that when the European priests first came to China during the Ming and Qing dynasties for their God missionary work, they had to stay in Macau to learn the Chinese language and the Chinese culture before they could go to their capital city to see the Chinese emperor. And back in those days, there was no Hanyu Pinyin. The Pinyin system was introduced to the mainland Chinese in later 1950s. And no Bopomol for the Taiwanese Mandarin phonetic system was just created in 1910s. However, all those priests, they could speak, write, and read the Chinese language very well within short time, usually 2 years or less. As you can see the picture right here, one of the most famous priests, Matthew Ricci, he was reading an ancient Chinese text. So, how did they learn Chinese? Can we borrow some secrets? Actually, as indicated in the colorful triangle here, the ancient Chinese language education system contains 3 main sections: the phonetic system, the characters, and the interpretation, which correspondingly cover the issues of the tones, the characters, the vocabulary, and the sentences. This tells us that the problems most people encounter when it comes to learn Chinese are exactly the essential parts of the language itself. In fact, the tones, the characters, and the meaning are inseparable. If you only learn one of the 3 aspects, you won't be able to grasp it. So, whenever you learn a Chinese character, even if it's the simplest word, like the number 1, yi, you still need to follow the process to practice the sound and the tone, learn how to write it, and understand the inner meaning of it and the cultural implication it carries. That means every part, including the tones, the character, and the meaning, is indispensable together they make the Chinese culture passed down for over 5,000 years. In this course, we always get you learn the three things together. So we call ourselves the Three Treasures Chinese Classroom. In order to master the pronunciation and the different tones, the most important point is practice. For each character you learn, we will prepare a set of exercises to practice the sound and the tones, including the character, related vocabularies, sample sentences, and the short conversations. And we will teach you a secret way to do the practice so that you can know yourself if you make any mistakes. Then correct it and keep practicing until you can do it accurately and fluently. In this way, you can grasp the pronunciation of each character you learn, one by one, in a down-to-earth manner. You will no longer be frustrated by pronunciation or listening. Writing characters can be more interesting. As you may know, writing Chinese character is a type of art using a very soft ink brush. We call it calligraphy. From the legend, the ink brush was divinely handed down to Chinese people for writing. It is the first of the four treasures of the study. Ancient Chinese people treated the characters as pictures. They believe that calligraphy and painting share the same origin. So we will help you overcome the difficulties related to characters through calligraphy. The structure and the stroke order of a Chinese character are related to the cultural connotations it carries. It is also a reflection of the ancient Chinese aesthetic philosophy. A character looks right, neat, and beautiful only if you write it in a specific order. When you truly understand the inner meaning of a character, you naturally know how to write it, without having to remember which stroke comes first and which one comes next. In addition to grasping the pronunciation and the writing, it is even more important to understand the meaning of the characters. The reason why the Chinese language has been passed down for thousands of years remains unchanged is because it carries the continuous traditional Chinese culture. When you understand the cultural connotation of a character in different contexts, you will realize the sophistication of the Chinese language and the profound of the traditional Chinese culture. You will have more interest in learning this fabulous language and gain more than you expected. When you move to the next video to start the actual learning journey, you will find it out.